I'm about to make the flying geese block on the Candy Corn Quilt Shop from Kimberbell. And according to the quilting diagram, that is block number 11 in the pattern. And the difference with this block is that the background quilting is done after the block is made, whereas before, usually the background quilting is done first. I'm going to go over here to my Candy Corn Quilt Shop embroidery files, and I'm going to pull in the flying geese. I have these on my desktop. And all this is a template, and we're going to stitch this template onto the stabilizer in the hoop. But actually what I'm going to do is stitch it over some batting. So we're just going to build the block backwards. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to see all this quilting. Now I want to pull in the background quilting. That's Halloween 1 4x6. Okay, because we are stitching it after the design, after the fabric block is built, I do not need these placement and tack down lines for batting. So there's the batting placement. I'm going to just highlight it and hit delete on my keyboard. Here is the batting tack down. Here is the fabric placement. And here's the fabric tack down. So all we're left with is the background quilting that's going to occur after the block is built. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. And I'm just going to come up here. Now, if you don't have Embrilliance, what you can do is load the design into your machine using your add feature. So you will stitch out the flying geese, and then you will bring in the background quilting designs and just don't stitch those first 4 color changes, and then just do the design. You'll have to jump ahead in your thread changes to get to just the background quilting design. So I'm going to go File, Save Stitch File As, and I'm going to save it on my USB, and I'm going to call it BKG, which is for background 5x7 flying geese. I had it on there already, but I had it backwards until I realized we were going to have to stitch the background quilting after we stitch the geese. So let me just hit save. Do I want to replace it? Yes. Great. Okay. So now I'm ready to go over to the machine. So I have my 5x7 hoop with poly mesh in it. I have marked the crosshairs directly on the stabilizer, and I have marked my batting with the little notches on all 4 sides centered. If you're not doing the background quilting, you don't need to do this step right now. This is for those of you that are doing the background quilting. So I'm going to put my 5x7 piece of batting on the crosshairs. Make sure it goes, because we're going to trim this to 4.5 by 6.5, and this is a 7-inch piece of batting. So I've only got like a 1/4 inch all the way around extra, but we're not going to be stitching the batting placement and tack down lines because we're stitching the background quilting after we build the flying geese. And if you're new to quilting, flying geese is a set of triangles that are on a rectangle, and they resemble geese flying north or south or somewhere, and that's the name they've been given. And they are I'm gonna pull my thread, I've changed colors. They are a staple in the quilting world of basic blocks. So let me thread my needle. So the first thing that's going to happen is to stitch the template for the flying geese. If you're not doing background quilting, you're going to stitch it directly onto your stabilizer. But I am doing background quilting, so I will stitch it on the batting. And I'm using a black thread so you can see it. So the first thing it's going to do is stitch out the template. You don't have a whole lot of room on the sides. You want to make sure that your batting is placed properly.
we are on page 39 of the embroidery book, and I am on stitch number 1. So we just stitched the piecing template directly to the stabilizer. If you're doing the background quilting, you will put your batting down first. And now we're going to place Geese A fabric right side up, completely covering the bottom Geese section. And that is, in the pattern book, that is this fabric. And you just want to lay it, so these little lines here are, so this is Geese A. Let me get a marker so you guys can see. This is Geese A, and here's B, and here's C, just like that. We're going to take our fabric and just put it completely over Geese A so that the whole thing is covered. And what it's going to do is stitch a placement line for the black spiderweb fabric. I have this background fabric with the fusible woven on the back. I do not have fusible woven on the back of my smaller pieces. So what we're going to do is stitch this like this and then fold it up like that. All right. Sorry to have my hand in the way. So we're going to put this piece of fabric right here and just make sure the whole line is covered. You want it to have like a 1/4 inch or so. Oh, that's got almost, yeah. Whoa, it gets close there. Look at that. Okay, now before you do the next stitch, you have to fold this over up flat against that line and give yourself a little finger crease right there, okay? And you can take it out and iron it if you want, but it's really important that this half of the geese is folded up out of the way. And now we're going to stitch the next one, the next line. This is a placement line for the other geese. And put your other fabric in face down and cover that line completely. Okay, fold this one back now. All right, give it a good crease. And now what you want to do is remove the hoop and trim across the top of the block. Get that fabric out of the way. And what I'm going to do, I can kind of see where the fabric is right here. I'm just going to take my ruler and make a straight line and give myself a little cutting guide on this guy right there. This is a friction marker so that it'll come off with heat. That way I can cut these and not have a bunch of bulk in the block. Yeah, just like that. I can't even see Geese B. Okay. Yeah, so the next piece is going to go on like, we've got to get to where we can see. It's going to stitch a placement line, and we're going to put this on. It's going to stitch a placement line like right here, and we're going to put this on and then fold it up like that. So that's going to be the end result, like that. Okay. Okay, so now we're ready for the placement line for the next geese. Hopefully that doesn't catch. Nope, good. Okay, and we're going to put this down about 1/4 of an inch over that placement line. We got way too much fabric here. You can't even see it, your template anymore. I'm going to remove my hoop and clean out all of this extra up to about 1/4 of an inch away from that that tack down line right there. I just wanted to get all that bulk out, and I'm going to fold this up and finger crease it over. And I think I'm going to take a piece of tape and tape it up just so it's nice and flat when it stitches the placement line for the Geese B. Okay. I won't leave that there, but I'm going to put it in there for now so it holds flat. Okay. One of the things you look for in a good flying geese is that this point right here is not tipped. It shouldn't be flat across the top. So that's what this has been digitized to do. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to take my fabric and I'm just going to place it over completely over that line and let it tack it down. Okay, and fold this up to cover. Okay. And crease it with your finger. And now we're going to do the placement line for the next geese wing. And put this down just a little bit over that. And fold this up over, and I'm gonna do the placement line for the next geese and then take it out and trim the bulk. Let me get that tape out of there. Okay, I've got my other piece of fabric. I don't guess you really needed to use the fusible woven on this. It's not that dense of a design at all. There's your tack down for your last Geese C. Fold that up and use my little tape and tape it down, hold it, and it's going to do the placement line for the next geese. Now it's going to do a final stitch where it goes around and tacks this whole thing down all the way around. It'll be a final border stitch. Now I'm going to do the background quilting in a metallic. It's a King Star metallic thread. I'm going to do it in silver for the spider webs. It's an adorable design. It's got a couple of little spiders in it, and I think it'll be super cute. This is going to take 4 minutes to stitch. So let's see how it does with this metallic. All finished. Isn't that amazing? That looks adorable. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to trim it up to 4.5 by 6.5 now. That turned out awesome. I love that little spider. He is just too stinking cute. I'll put a link to that thread below. You guys, it's not cheap. But with the holidays coming, it's worth every penny. You're just going to make the most cutest, cutest, cutest things. Let's see. 4.5 by 6.5. Yeah. I can't even see the lines on the batting any longer. I wonder if I could do it from this side. Ooh, look at that. Now I can square up my lines. Ha ha! There we go. Center, 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 center. Yeah. Perfect. Look. All right, I got another one to make.